internet. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Christian Tejeda. This is Donell Ward, Alphonso McCree. On the first podcast, we're definitely here to talk again. So Ward was going to lead us in a conversation about just where life has brought us, what we've done up until this point, and then kind of how things are now for us, just to kind of gauge and see where everyone's at, and even like kind of try to relate it back to maybe something in your life, or however the fuck it may go about it. There's things you can relate to in everybody's life. So,
well, for the viewers, if you see me looking over to my left, my little girl is over there in her little playpen, watching Sesame Street and eating my phone. So, I'm just gonna check on her periodically. But life. So, a lot of people don't really know my story. Kind of keep it to myself and to like a select people, just because I don't need everybody's pity or whatever. No, I don't want nobody to feel sad for me.
Right.
So prior to me coming into the military, I didn't really do anything. A lot of people see me and they're like, "Oh, why aren't you in school playing ball somewhere?" Blah blah blah. It didn't work out that way. Basically, long story short, it didn't work out that way. So I'm here. First few years in the military, I was being like any other young black guy in Europe would do. I'm saying? I was enjoying myself, clubbing like all the time. I used to not get hangovers, so you know how great of a feeling that was.
Yeah.
So, but I got over here, and life started to kind of like unravel, and then kind of like braid itself back up together or whatever. So, I want to say when I got here, first thing that happened, like I didn't even have my apartment yet. Wrecked my car, got smacked, and I was like, all right, that's great. And then found out that one of my grandparents had passed away. Couldn't go back to the States for that funeral. Yeah. I was like, all right, this is great. And then a few months afterwards, my aunt passed away from cancer. And she was like, you got a bunch of aunts or, a bunch of people in your family, and then there's that few that you are like really close to. Mm-hmm. My aunt was one of those few that I was like really, really close to. And my family's like predominantly women, so like all the women are pretty like tight with each other. It was my mom's sister-in-law. Her name was Chanel. She used to take me like all the time during the summer. I used to hang out with her, my cousin Dion, and his friends. We used to just like kick it all the time. And so like once I grew older, you kind of start to drift apart from that stuff, but the connect never really goes away. So when I found out she passed away, I was like in a dark place. And at that time, I was in a relationship with somebody, and out of nowhere, like they just felt like they completely vanished. So I was like, all right, cool. And then like at that point, I was just pretty much in a dark place. I kind of didn't really have any drive to do much. You know how they do those little assessments like mental health? They be like, have you ever had a desire or undesire to do anything in the past 6 months? Of course, I marked that shit no, but at that point, I was like, I really don't want to do anything. I'm ready to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
But, a few months went by, and I ended up crossing paths again with my now wife. It's funny because, like, when I first met her, it was during a basketball event in Germany. Mm-hmm. When I got here, one of the referees, his wife is in my squadron, and he got a phone call asking for players. And so he shot my name out there, and they asked me to come out there to, try out and everything. And she was at that camp. I had no idea who she was. And, we kind of like exchanged words for a little bit. And then, like, I wasn't really like in that frame of mind to like even be pursuing anybody. So I was like, all right, cool. I was also with that girl. That's the difference. So, we just crossed paths. Like, it wasn't anything like serious in my mind. Her side of the story, she was like already like plotting. So,
God.
But it's cool. Fast forward, we met up again playing basketball in Aviano at the gym, and we just started like kicking it. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to like try a relationship again. And then I asked the people close to me and my family. Like I asked my mom, asked one of my sisters, I asked one of my closest cousins, just to gauge and see what other people's opinions were, which I really shouldn't have done. I should have went with like my gut feeling anyway, which was to like go after it. So I I gave it a chance, and it's been great ever since. And then like I feel like ever since I actually did something for myself, kind of like opened up a lot of doors. So I was getting a lot more opportunities to like do all kinds of stuff, and she was like a part of it. She was right behind me, like pushing me to do stuff, encouraging me to like apply for like tryouts and everything. So within I'm gonna give her all the credit. Within like that year, I was invited to play at the highest level in Air Force. Like I went down to San Antonio, tried out for all Air Force team, made it, and it was like she kind of like made all of that shit happen for me. I feel like she did. She didn't actually like have her hand in it, but her encouragement and her drive and her pushing me and her being behind me and supporting me really made the difference.
Yeah.
So now, we got a baby girl now, and she's deployed, unfortunately. So, I'm kind of like solo dolo dad right now, but I don't regret anything. That's like it's kind of weird.
No, I felt that.
It's like the best feeling, having no regrets.
Dude.
I swear. That's like the most comfortable feeling you can have. Like to be like, okay, where I'm at in life right now, everything bad that happened or good that happened, like all that happened for a reason. And like to regret any of it, like say like figuratively speaking, if you regret something, it just goes away. Like say something like magic like that happened or whatever. Like if you regret that bad stuff that happened in your life, all of a sudden you turn around, poof, oh, my wife and my baby are gone. Like what just happened? Like, oh, you regretted the bad stuff that happened in your past to like set you up so that you can make the right decision, so that you could allow yourself to have this, because you have to go through bad stuff. Everybody does. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
You have to go through something bad to like learn the lesson. Now, how bad? I mean, it just depends on the person, whatever.
Always
but
a storm.
It's always something bad. It's always something that you're not gonna like.
Yeah.
That you have to go through in order to realize like what's best for you.
Always a storm.
I think like you hit it pretty well when you were saying like it's like the fear of taking that risk to like put yourself out there and be with someone again. And Alphonso, I know you were saying like the regret of it. Been like watching like a bunch of videos and just listening to podcasts and whatnot, and just hearing these people talk, and they talk about how like usually when people are like in their last moments of living and like going through life and they're looking back on their life, they're not thinking about like the things that they did, they're thinking about all the things they didn't do. And I think when it comes to like thinking about the past and trying to move forward and make those decisions with impulse, because I think making decisions with impulse is much more important than thinking on it and then waiting on it, because you never know. But it's one of those things that like I don't want to regret not taking a relationship or some shit like that. Like I definitely am in a place now where I'm like, I don't really want to be with nobody. You know what I mean? Like I'm chilling, but there are and there has been like situations in my past where I've wanted to like be with someone, or I've been with someone and it just didn't work out. Like I think one of the biggest things from my history was going through high school, and I think I might have hinted at it in a previous podcast, but going through high school and not graduating with my class. Like I didn't walk with my class at all. I didn't finish the year out with my class. I graduated the same year, but I didn't walk with them. No tough like friendships, relationships, anything like that. However, I was with a girl, and she pretty much helped me finish school. Like, she was like driving me to like this general education place. I wasn't getting my GED or anything like that. I was like finishing off the last few classes in like this computer program for people who didn't give a fuck, pretty much. And she like took me consistently, and I think about that when I think about people who do you wrong, and like situations that like ultimately, because like if I could say it at whatever point in time in the past, this girl like broke my heart, you know what I mean? Like like devastated me. So looking back on it now, I'm kind of grateful, but at the same time, it's just weird how something like that can happen in your life, and then you don't realize how much of an impact it can have on you. You know what I mean? It's great. It's great to think about, definitely, because then you never really know. You never really know like what's gonna happen in life. Like you said, you're not thinking about getting married. You're not thinking like you're in here, you're in Europe, you're fucking around, you're having a good time, you're chilling, like everything's good, and then you're like, damn, I fucking love someone.
Yeah,
and
bro.
it's like,
yeah, that probably
you know
hit
what?
like a brick
You know
wall.
what's really weird about love? So I was thinking about this, and it's like my concept of love, or my idea of love, is like it's like a familiar feeling. Like you can't explain why the love between you and that other person is so, like, it feels so right.
yeah,
And then you're like, it's like I've known you all my life. Like, that's what I think of love. Like, it's such a familiar feeling. Like, you cannot process it in your head immediately. And it's like you have to relearn what it felt like. Like, you felt it, like, at some point in your life, whether you were a baby or whatever, like, you experienced a level of love and it just stuck with you.
right.
And then you forgot that feeling, but it's still kind of embedded into you. And when you finally meet that person that reignites it, it's like, damn, like, I've known this feeling for so long, but I could not ever get my hands on it. Now you got your hands on it. That's what I feel like with my wife now. It's like, I don't know how the hell you did this, but like you really saved me. And it feels so good to even like for us to be together. It's like one of the best feelings in the fucking world.
Right.
I don't know, like, but that's just like how I imagined like how love operates. It's like a feeling that you've always known, but you could never just put your finger. Like, it's like a taste. Like, damn, I've tasted that before, but I don't know where I tasted it. Like, and you're like, oh shit,
that's fucking awesome. Like I don't even know. I hope for something like that, but it feels like there's all this confusion and all this stuff going on in my life to where I'm like, I couldn't even see myself being with someone because I don't want to force it. You know what I mean? Like, right. I don't want to force anything. I know both of you guys are like in great relationships and you guys are going through the motions, and that's like something like I look up to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have that. So me by myself, I kind of do what I can do.
Right.
And if I'm out here being weird, I'm out here being weird. But there's still like, it's interesting because like people are like, oh, you're a thought, oh this, oh that, oh you out here hoeing, whatever. But it's like, I'm not saying I don't want a commitment. I'm not saying I don't want a relationship. It's just like, don't you think other people are out here thinking the same way I am, but doing things that they don't want to do at the same time?
I feel like at some point, like for me, like letting yourself, letting it happen, basically. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to force it. You don't have to like go out searching for it, because it's gonna eventually find you. And that's kind of what happened with me. Like I just like kind of said whatever, fuck it. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And then it ended up happening. And it's kind of like an inevitable thing. Like somebody out there is like, you may have never known them knowing you, or that they've like y'all ever crossed paths, but like they're watching you, they're like monitoring you, they're keeping their tabs on you because they like really fucking care about you. And you'll never know until like one day they finally muster up the courage to be like, hey, what's up? You like,
what's good?
You like, hey, like you weird out, like, what's going on?
Like me and Ward have like sort of similar stories when it comes to our relationship. So like, and it's like real weird because he has a baby, I got one on the way. Like it's super weird how we both got to like the exact same place. So like, for me, what had happened was I was in like a 10-month relationship. Mm-hmm. Like gave this girl like anything she wanted from me. Like, you know, I gave her all the love I could possibly give her. And like it didn't work out because she wasn't ready for somebody like me, I don't think. Like I told you guys before the podcast started, like I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You can tell how I'm feeling just by the way I'm acting. I don't try to hide it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to hide it. Also, I go all out in relationships. Like, I'm gonna make sure that the person I'm with knows that like they're loved, that I care about them, and all that good stuff. And I think it was one of those typical cases of somebody being used to the like rougher, like less, the guy who is less prone to showing like how he actually feels and
Right.
stuff like that. So in simpler terms, I was too nice, basically, and that led to me, being taken advantage of and stuff like that. And the reason why our stories are so similar is because, well, actually, I had met my wife a year before I met her again, but it was only for like 20 minutes or something like that. We were in the same room for a while. Cool. I didn't see her again until like a year later. So I graduated high school. I came back for like alumni day, and they did like this little thing in the auditorium where us people who were in college came up there to talk about our college and stuff like that. She details the story is this is like her words, not mine. She was like I guess I look cute to everybody that was there or something. So everybody was asking like who I was and stuff like that. And like as soon as she walked in and saw me, she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get his number." I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But that's what she had told her friend or whatever. So the whole time she's scheming how she's gonna do it, plotting, plotting. And she was like, as soon as I grabbed the mic, it was my turn to speak. As soon as I grabbed the mic, like I guess every girl in there just started like screaming their heads off or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, honestly, because I guess I drowned it out. I don't remember it. But I just started talking about my college and stuff like that. So after the seminar or whatever's over, they're like, they'll be available for Q&A if you guys have any questions. Just go ahead, come up to the stage or whatever. She comes up to the stage. She's trying to be slick about it, so she asked my friend for like their contact information for like college stuff, quote unquote. Bring her over here, man. Let her be in the podcast.
No, that's great.
So like she talks to my friend,
right.
just to like make it look like she ain't over there just to get my number or whatever. And then she comes over to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I remember you from last year or whatever like that." And we exchanged numbers. I'm like, yeah, like we can be homies. I'm still with my ex-girlfriend, so I'm like, I'm not thinking. I'm like committed. Like my eyes are on the prize or whatever.
Oh my god.
And
no, it's great.
Oh god. And so what ends up happening is probably about like I think 6 more months later, because I think I was 4 months or maybe 5 months into that relationship at that point. So about 6 months later, so like that, we break up for good. She does like some grimy stuff, and I'm not gonna go into detail or whatever, but it was grimy. She did me dirty, and we broke up for good. And this is the reason why I say me and Ward are so similar, because I literally tell my wife all the time, like, "Yo, you saved me for real," because I was the type of person to give 1,000,001 chances. I would have never stopped giving my ex-girlfriend chances, ever. It took her being there, like, most people call it a rebound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could be interpreted as that. But I saw it as, like this is where I need to be right now. I don't need to be back where I just came from, because that relationship tore me down mentally the entire 10 months that I was with her. And I was like, this person right here, because we had become like best friends over that time that we had like since we exchanged numbers or whatever. She was like telling me her story and stuff like that. Like I had gained like a general care about her as a person, not as like not as like somebody I'm attracted to. Which I found her attractive, but like it was still like, like I'm on a respect level. Like, I respect my girlfriend, stuff like that. But then after we broke up, me and her started seeing each other, and we've been together ever since. This was 2012, and it's 2019 right now, and it's almost been like, no, actually it was 2013. My bad, 2013, not 2012. 2012 is when we met again. It was December 2012, and then like June 2013 we started like seeing each other, and it just, I look back at that and I'm like, man, my life could have gone one of two ways right there. Like, it could have gone the way of like, I could have gone back with my ex, been broken down more mentally, not be the person that I am today, or I could be with my wife and be in this tremendous situation where I got a happy home, I got 3 pets. Like, she motivates me, she keeps reminding me of my goals. Like, I told her a long time ago I wanted to be a professional wrestler. She never lets me forget that. Like, she never lets me forget the fact that, like, I have a big dream that is worth chasing, because you said something earlier about, people lay on their deathbeds and they think about the stuff that they didn't do. If I were to get to my deathbed and think back on it and be like, wow, like, I never even tried to be a wrestler. Like, I never even believed in myself enough to like get in the wrestling ring and just see if it was for me. Like, that would be something that I would regret.
Yeah.
And she literally saved me from myself, because I overthink things. I go with the safe route. Even though I'm a natural born risk taker, something in me always is like, no, you need to go with this safe route. So recently, I was like, I got about a year left on my contract come April. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll cross train, I'll re-enlist, and we'll go from there. I'll do my 20, we'll be stable, all that stuff. I don't care if I achieve my dreams, it'll be all right.
Right.
And in the back of her head, like out loud, she's like, well, babe, if that's what you want to do, because she's so supportive. She like, she's like, well, if that's what you want to do, we'll make it happen. But in the back of her mind, she's like, it's breaking her heart that like she's sort of watching me give up on a dream, because she knows how passionate I am about wrestling. I talk about wrestling like 50% of the day at least. I'm always trying to show her some wrestling stuff. Like, basically, I live and breathe this stuff. I've been to like almost 20 shows. She good, man. She straight. She's straight. This is what I have to look forward to in 6 months, though.
Oh no.
But yeah, she knows like how passionate I am about it, and I don't really know if I would have got that same motivation, that same, hey, go after your dreams type stuff that I get from my wife. I don't really see myself having gotten that from my ex. Right. And that, I think that's like, it's so essential for me to remember the fact that like I have somebody behind me that's always watching me, that wants me to achieve these dreams that I told her that I have. Because when you find your soulmate, when you find like that person that you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life, that person is going to make sure that like you never give up on your dreams. That's one thing you will notice. That person will constantly remind you of what your goals are. And my wife is always giving me pep talks like, there's always something you could be doing. You give your job 8-9 hours of your day, 5 days a week. Why aren't you working on your craft? I'm like, you're right, but I don't feel motivated to do it, and it's probably because I don't believe that I can do it. And when you don't believe in yourself, it's so good to have somebody behind you that still does, no matter what. Right. Because you're gonna have your moments where you're like, dog, it feels like everything is working against me. Like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
I mean, I definitely agree. I think relating it back to welcome back.
Welcome back, Ward. It's the Mountain Loft podcast.
Yeah,
I lost her pacifier on the one day that I needed her to have. It's ridiculous, bro.
That's great. No, I think that's so good. Like, there's like a solid section of it now, and it's just you just being a grown ass man. Like,
it's like, bro, when I come back on this podcast, like after August, when I have my baby with me, I'm gonna be like in the same situation that you were in just now. And it's gonna be like, yo,
yeah,
you need to be quiet. I'm trying to talk
on
this podcast
trying
right
to talk
now.
and listen, and making me do one.
I think, like I was saying, thinking back on it, like it's a lot when it comes to being in relationships and then going through like things as an individual and trying to really like make sense of it all. Because I think that one of the things that we all kind of ignore is like life is not a finite thing. It's not permanent. We can go through a lot of it debating about who's going to be the best, who's going to do what, whatever the fuck the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's not really one of those things that like is up for discussion. Like everybody knows what's at the end of the road, right? So then looking back on the lives we've lived and the people we've been with and the things that we've done, I think it's important to understand like who we are and how we go about those things and where we've been and acknowledge where we're at now.
What do you think from your past like affects your relationships now? Because that's something that's always come like sort of first nature to me. Right. I've never really been able to truly relate to people who struggle to like find a relationship, only because like it had been so easy for me. Like, no, I didn't get a lot of girls or whatever, but like the relationships I've been in have been long and like strong relationships. So I've always wondered like, what's the disconnect? Like when you meet somebody, how do so many of these relationships just fall off? Like, do you think it's a problem with yourself, or maybe, obviously it's a little bit of both. But
the honest answer is that I'm selfish as fuck. No bullshit. I am selfish as fuck. I care a lot about me. I care a lot about my well-being, about my mental health, about like my physical health, like the things that I do, the people I invite into my life, into my home. All these things matter to me very much. And I believe that although you can go out here, you can have sex with whoever, do whatever the hell you want, this is like a natural thing in life. That's a normal thing. However, when I think about sharing energy with someone, giving someone like my intimate time, and me being home, if I'm home and I invite you into my space, that's intimate time, regardless of however anyone wants to look at it. If you invite someone into your space when you aren't obligated to be around someone else or be working for someone else and doing something for someone else, that's your time to be intimate with yourself or intimate with others. So I think it's all an intimate thing, regardless of whether or not that's like drinking with your guys, playing video games. That's all like time for you to do whatever the fuck. And so what's happened in my past and even currently now is that I've gotten to a point and a place in my life where I believe I cannot be with someone if I am not 100% who I need to be. So like one of the things I'm working on is am I cordial? Am I like Am I the person that I would want to lead me? You know what I mean? Like I need to see myself being someone great, and I can't be with someone knowing that I'm so unsatisfied with myself. So when I say selfish, I don't mean like selfish in the sense that like, oh, I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. I don't care about your life. I don't care about. No, it's not that. It's more so I need to figure out why I'm here. I need to figure out my purpose. I need to figure out, and everybody's shit is different. Everybody's shit is different. I just think for some reason, man, like I've been growing up, I've been going through the motions, I've dated, I've tried it, I've done all these things. I have intimate relationships with people. Like I know how to be intimate. I know how to be in love with someone. But it's just time and place. So terrible. So terrible. I'm trying to do everything I can do to just be better. And the selfishness kicks in, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I can't do it. I
can't focus on you.
Yeah, I can't be with you, because what's gonna happen is I'm a cozy ass motherfucker, right? I love getting cozy. I love chilling. I chill for too long. What happens? I get fat. I start doing shit I don't want to do. I start getting complacent. I start like all these things that just would put me so in the fucking back of the line when it comes to like being successful and living a good life. So if I figured if I just take my time right now, be selfish, go through the motions, be lonely, deal with it, build some fucking character, get some money, establish myself, save for myself, I'll be better off in a relationship later on. And that's kind of where my mind is at. I don't really know how it works for everyone else, but when it comes to me, I don't like the whole being a hoe thing, the whole fucking around with multiple girls, whatever the hell you want to think. I mean, that's fun, but that's temporary in my mind. Like, that's not something that I think.
Phase.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's a phase. And I think once
it's part of growing up. Like, most dudes don't go through it, but a lot of guys go through it, and it's them finding themselves. Like, what are they most attracted to?
Right.
What do they like when they are in the company of another woman? And like just like tendencies and habits and stuff. Like they start to figure out what it is that attracts them to a certain kind of person, and then eventually like they draw a line or can connect the dots of like, okay, I like this in this person.
Yeah.
Like they start to pretty much build what they want. Like the idea starts to manifest itself in their minds of what they want in a woman. And then eventually I'm like, all right, I'm done with this nightlife. I'm done with you immature ass girls. I'm done with like all of this shit. And then they go out and they put themselves in position to find somebody. But then most times they don't get exactly what they want. And so they kind of like retreat and fall back, and then they settle for something that's not going to make them happy.
Right.
It's really all a phase, I think, because I went through that phase in Germany. Did a lot. I had a lot of fun, and then I just stopped wanting to do that shit. Like I was like, it's not really that fun to me anymore.
Right.
Find what you figure out what you want, and then you start to like notice that shit. Like okay, but then you also notice things that you don't want, and you gotta figure out where can you compromise. But you don't want to compromise too much, because then at that point you're settling, and then you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah, you start losing yourself. I definitely think identity in a relationship is important. No, it's perfectly fine. Like I'm just going through my head and trying to figure out how to make sense of it. I know for me it's one of those things that like I try not to dwell too much on, because I don't want it to be something that I make seem like it's a burden in my life, because it's not. It's just one of those things that at the end of the day, I need to look at it for what it is, and I need to press forward with it. It's completely understandable. Like I'm so caught up in other things, and like I know that like love and relationships and all this stuff it's great and it works for a lot of people. I just think, like I said before, the timing, the placement of it, how your life is set up, and like when you're not looking, sometimes it just fucking dive bombs into your forehead, and you're like, hey, got him. Like you're in there.
It'll hit your ass before you know it, and you're like, well, damn. And then it kind of like wiggles its way into making itself fit into your life. I did not think I had any time for a relationship. Definitely didn't think I had time for a family. And that shit just kind of wiggled its way into like all of my ideas and what I want to do in life.
Right.
Or in the picture, me like standing in front of whatever the fuck, like whatever grand area, it was just me in the picture. And then like as the relationship started to like develop and everything, they start to blend in and like form themselves into the picture. And next thing I know, I got a fucking Photoshop family picture. Like it's me, my wife, and now, my bad, and now my kid. So it's like it's weird as hell, but I don't have a problem with it. Like I don't know. It just wiggles its way into your life, and then it makes itself at home, and then you're like completely comfortable and okay with it.
Start feeling whole.
Yeah, really. Like, you don't really notice that you're missing out on stuff until you experience it. Like, damn, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like something that I had always wanted. Even when I was younger, like I had my glow up in like 11th grade,
The glow up.
12th grade. Girls
I
were
never had
flocking.
that.
Got a beard.
You know what I'm saying? But like it, all throughout my life, I was like, and I think it's because of watching my dad. I think that's really important. Your parents usually show you what like you really want, I guess, in a family, because it's gonna be what you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
So like you either like say you grow up in like a single family home. Okay, you probably still want, you know, your wife or your girl or whatever, and your kid if you have one or whatever. You probably still want that whole family, but you're okay with having like a single family home because you've seen it done before.
Yeah.
For me, it was like
She got vocals.
For me, it was like, nah, like I want my wife, I want my kid, and I want my kid to always have me in their life, like no matter what. I want my wife to always have me in her life, no matter what. And I was like, I don't feel like going through all this, like dating a whole bunch of women and stuff like that. I was like, I used to pray for it. I was like, just give me one girl and I'll be good. Like, I just want that one person that I vibe with that's perfect for me. Just give me that one person and let me just build my family. Because, like, speaking of time, like, you know, you guys mentioned, like, you didn't think you had time for, you know, like, relationship.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a family and stuff like that. I was like, I don't have time for nothing else but this relationship and building a family. Like, that's, like, my number one goal. I tell my wife all the time, like, even if I never achieve, like, my big dreams of, like, you know, being a pro wrestler and all that stuff, if I had my wife and my kid, like, that would be the thing that's, like, better than anything else I could ever imagine.
You feel content?
Yeah. And I'm like, you never, like, really come to terms with, like, how happy it makes you until your wife pops up with that pregnancy test in her hand. You're like, wait, what?
Got him. Got him.
You're like, yo, this is like actually about to happen. Like,
Yeah.
are we for real? Like I was like, you gotta be pranking me.
That was a dope video watching that shit.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man,
You saw when I
this
posted?
man from the
I gotta-
crowd.
I
I was
watch-
like,
I gotta
bruh,
watch it.
oh my, like I held that joint to my heart. I was like, bro, this like isn't happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I gotta tell my dad. But Christmas was around the corner, so I was like, all right, we'll tell family on Christmas Day and everything will be smooth. It'll be cool. I'll deal with that in like a year or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it was the dopest feeling, like having your wife like prepare that like reveal for you.
Yeah.
And you're like so excited. You're like, who can I tell? Who can't I tell? Stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, this is everything I wanted since I knew what starting a family was.
Yeah. I think there's a great amount of like sentiment in that. Like those are definitely moments in life where your family is like made. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like
for
you
real.
do not. I feel like unless you have, you know, God rest your soul, like Alzheimer's or something like that, Alzheimer's, whatever, that you just don't forget. You don't forget kind of things like that. You know what I mean?
That's another thing. That's why I'm so glad. Like, we're in this age of technology now where you can capture everything like that on video.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like you said, God forbid I get Alzheimer's when I get old and stuff like that. Those videos don't get Alzheimer's. Like, those videos are always going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, those memories are always going to be there no matter what, because we're in this age of technology where everything can be recorded and stored. And it's not just a picture anymore. You don't have to, like, try to imagine that moment.
Right.
Like, that moment is taped for you right there. And it's those memories that you really do hold on to, those sentimental moments, their first steps, first Christmas, stuff like that I'm looking forward to right now. That's just like, I just can't wait for this baby to get here. And people keep talking about, oh, you're not going to get any sleep and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I understand that. I couldn't care less. I'm like,
you just start thriving off nothing.
I'm like, I couldn't care less, man. I'm like, okay. And I'm going to still be like as happy as I've ever been in my life. Like, it was such a great feeling to talk to my dad and be like, yo, I'm about to be like you. Like, I'm about to be a father like you are. And it's like, oh, snap. Stuff starts getting real to you. You're like, oh, okay, so we're like really building a legacy here. Like, I'm your child. Now we're about to have a child, and you're about to be a grandfather, and like this whole lineage that you start to feel a part of. And once again, it's like, yo, this right here is all I've ever wanted since me and my wife got together. I was like, I'm gonna have a kid with you in like 5 years.
We having this baby.
And fast forward, literally 5 years later, she pulls out that pregnancy test for me. I'm like, yo, when you speak something into the universe, like that has power. Like, people don't understand that. When you speak that positive stuff into the universe and you say what you want, like, that carries power. It really does. And that's why all the time I've been talking about, I want like a healthy baby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Speaking positive affirmations into the universe, because like,
I
this
believe
is
that.
something that I've dreamed of, and I don't think I would have it with anybody else, because my wife had to save me from the situation I was in, and we had to be in this exact moment right now that we're in. Like, there's no other situation I'm supposed to be in right now. I have no regrets. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Family, love, like meeting Ward, that wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
I was supposed to meet Ward. I was supposed to meet you. Like, for different reasons that, I might not know 100% yet what those reasons are, but like, everything has happened for a reason. I'm so content with life right now, more than I've been in like the past 2 years, because the past 2 years, some of it has been like one of the darkest times of my life.
Right.
Like, going through a depression that I didn't even know that I had.
Yeah.
Just having rough patches in marriage that happen, early on, because you're trying to figure out like, how are we supposed to do this marriage thing. But the thing about her and the thing about me is that we don't quit or let things linger. Like, we went to counseling, we did all that stuff, and things weren't even, like, it wasn't close to like divorce or nothing like that. But we were like, yo, let's go to counseling and like, let's see if we can start mending the broken parts of our marriage so that the stronger parts of our marriage can thrive more.
Yeah. Reinforcing your fucking shit together.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not an accident either that she's just now getting pregnant, because it's not like we were using it was like,
you're not wrong.
It was, and it's not like I was trying to make a great escape at the last second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we were supposed to get pregnant right now. We were supposed to.
Hayden, can you stop screaming?
We were supposed to know the people that we know
There's nothing wrong with you.
right now.
You lost your pacifier. That's your fault.
I feel like that's what she's primarily upset about. Oh.
This actually might be my favorite podcast.
Bro, this is an absolute disaster in my life.
You're like, God, I can't. I have no
Like,
control.
I really like. I don't know if y'all like really believe in that. Like, everything's supposed to happen exactly when it happens for a reason.
You know, sometimes I don't believe in that, and then I accept it and I'm like, well, damn, I was supposed to actually like damn near break my ankle that day.
Yeah.
I mean, like when
And actually limp and then meet this person who saw me limping and asked me, can they help me? Type shit. That never really happened to me, but you know what I'm saying?
it's like Murphy's Law, anything that can happen will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of those. I think that I keep saying that's one of those things. That's my shtick. I realize that, but like I definitely agree. I definitely agree that we're put into positions and things happen on such a strange level, like on such a like weird level that you could either look at it and be like, oh, my life is so fucked, or oh, my life is terrible, or whatever the case may be. Or depending on the mindset and the mentality you have, you could probably be like, hey, we'll fucking work this. Like we're gonna make this shit work.
Yeah.
And what I think is like you're in a very strange way, you're creating a reality for yourself. And the idea of existence is living and living life. So when
things never, one thing I've had to learn the hard way is things are like never the way you envision them to be.
Yeah.
Like it just never happens that way. Like even the smallest detail, like yeah, I'm about to have a family, but I definitely envision myself having a girl, and it looks like we're about to have a boy. It's like, you know, it's little stuff like that. Like
right.
Nothing's ever 100%. Once you accept that, like I think things do get a lot easier for you to like process.
You got to kind of just go with the motions. So
Yeah.
I think it's like going with the motions, but then realizing like it's like a push and pull. You got to know when you got to push, you got to know when you got to you got to just resist.
Mm-hmm.
And then where you got to just let that shit come in. Like let it fucking just come on, bring it. Like
That's where intuition comes in a big way.
Yeah, and I think intuition is hella important. Yeah. Because if you don't have like, if you can't like look at a situation or look at someone and be like, you're kind of off, or you're kind of cool, or you know what I mean? Like you got to be able to take those moments, because that's, I think intuition ultimately decides what kind of life you're going to live.
Yep.
If you allow yourself to live a life at all.
I'd never talked to you two a day in my life before ALS, but like as soon as I met y'all, I was like, I don't know nothing about them, but I know they cool. I know nothing y'all have done so far told me that y'all were cool. It's just that intuition, and I know it works because I've met people in my career that I'm like, something's just off with them.
Yeah.
And I'm right like 99% of the time. There's like, you know, that one little case where you're like, okay, I misjudged that person like crazy and I feel bad.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, you're right, and that's the reason why you misjudged, you know, that one person.
Oh man, now that you say that, I think about something. There's this like there's this theory, or this, not law, but it's this idea that we learn this in class.
Yeah, I don't remember nothing.
You can't assume that your prejudgment is always accurate. Because when you begin to believe that your intuition is absolute, that's when inconsistencies start
I know
happening.
what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
you're talking about the ratings. It's like, I forget the exact nomenclature, but it's like mistakes that supervisors make during like EPR ratings and stuff like that. So like one of them was the prejudice one, like the first meeting bias, where like, you know, you first meet the person, you're like, I don't like him, he's ugly.
Yeah.
And that's just like the attitude you have towards that person for the rest of the time you know him, and then it reflects on their EPR. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
What you're talking about now.
Yeah.
What you're talking about in high school.
It's the idea that in history, in your history as an individual, or in your history as an individual, anyone as an individual, what they do is they go through life and they experience things, and they start making judgments based upon the things they experience.
Yep.
And with those experiences and judgments, they gather the idea that they make judgments, and their judgments are accurate based on the experience they've had. So when you get older, you start to believe that your judgment is almost absolute. Like
Right.
you have,
I know what you're talking
you
about.
have undefined intuition, and no one can compete with it.
Yeah.
But that's where people fuck up, because that's when your intuition or your judgment starts to fail you, then you start having inconsistencies in your life, and nothing's worse than your pride being hit when you think you're right.
I know.
Taking that L, dog.
Arguing with the wife.
Oh my
and like
God.
she catches you and you're like, dang, I was wrong, but I ain't about to admit it right now. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna come up with every exception I can for why I was right, and it's the hardest thing. Yo, you hit me right in the feels right there.
She got me so many times. It's like, dude, you really not gonna let me live. All right, that's fine.
It's definitely one of those things.
I just cannot wait for the time that I catch her back, but she's not gonna let that shit happen.
Yeah.
If she catches me, I'll be like, oh my God.
Done,
Bro.
I try not to do that.
Why you gotta do that to Hayden?
I mean,
You just
it's true though, you know.
Fight when she gets back.
Girl.
Especially with like the way I think now, because I'm always like, I'm not an overthinker, but I'm always just letting my brain go, and I do this quite consistently because it helps me like brainstorm, and it helps me just clear my mind whenever I can. It's weird that thinking helps me clear my mind, but I just sort through my ideas and I sort through my problems, and like I face them. And I know like we were talking about it but before, but it's I think it's important that like I go through these motions and I think these things because I don't want to have the kind of mentality that makes me feel like I'm absolute about my thoughts and shit. And a lot of the time I do that, and I'm a very prideful person, right? So I have to step away from that, so that way I can, because other people have to win. It's not just about me. Yeah. I know I said before I'm selfish, and I go through these things, and I do that with good intent. Like I do that to secure a future, to secure something for myself and my family later on. However, right now I know that like I can't win everything. I can't win all the battles. This was an issue I had in my past. Like I would always want to be right. I didn't like being wrong. I didn't like being challenged. I liked having control. And these are things that I've been working on.
What month were you born? What month were you born?
I'm a Leo.
You're a Leo?
Yeah.
That's
August.
a Scorpio trait too.
August. Dominance is definitely a Leo trait too.
Yeah, that's a Scorpio trait too.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, I just gotta have it. So one of the things about mastering myself has been letting those kind of things go. Like when you like debate with yourself and you realize what's really fucking wrong with you, like look at like really analyzing your past and being blunt with yourself. I think those are the things that I struggle with the most. Like being prideful. I've definitely practiced like honesty as the best policy recently. Like if it's on my mind and it's the truth, I tell it like it is, and I just really wait to see what the fuck the response from the other person is gonna be. Like I don't hold any resentment. I don't hold any regrets, because I'm always like, I just practice telling the truth now. White lies, nope, not finna. There's no point. There's like no point. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's those little things that I've been working on doing.
You know, that's a good question. That's a good question. I like that topic that you're talking about, because I think it's so important that we all recognize we got toxic traits. Even if you're a really good person, everybody has like at least 2 or 3 toxic traits, and like they might not be so toxic that they are affecting other people's lives in a super negative way, but there's things there are things that need to be like polished up.
Yeah.
Like for me, one of the things I'm constantly working on is like staying away from like gossip, because I know that like I always want to know what's going on, but I'm not the type of person that you can ask and I'm gonna tell like what's going on. I'm the type of person that's gonna ask and then I like feel good because like I know, but I just keep it to myself.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm not affecting anybody's life negatively, but it's still a toxic trait because like I don't need to know some of this information. Like why am I being nosy?
Right.
You know, it's that type of thing. Everybody has like those toxic things. one that we share is the lying thing.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up my whole childhood just lying. No reason to lie, but it's a habit, you know. And my wife will catch me in one, like it'll be a small one, but it's like, you know, I feel bad afterwards. I'm like, I didn't even need to lie to her about like that stupid crap. And then because I do that, it gets me in troubles in other situations where I'm actually telling the truth. So that's one of those toxic traits that's negatively affecting somebody's life, and it just happens to be mine as well as my wife's. So it's like you said, you know, you sit down, you really look at yourself for a second, and you're like, okay, yeah, overall, I might be a pretty good person. Like, people like me. You know what I'm saying? My coworkers like me. My coworkers think they can count on me. My family loves me. My wife is happy with me. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm not, like, doing some, like, messed up stuff.
Right.
So, like, what are those things that I'm doing that are messed up? I'm glad you brought that up because,
I mean, that for me is, like, the perfect segue into, like, another podcast. So if you have any more on that, hold on to it and then tell me about it later.
Definitely gonna come back for another podcast. Mine is her. Her feet smell like Ritz crackers right now.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a good topic, and we can definitely like sort through
that's
it.
that's an amazing
and
topic.
talk about it because I definitely have some very strong opinions about the type of person I am, and people being honest with themselves. And like, you just see so much. You see so much like inconsistency in people's actions and their words, and like what they do, what they post, how they act, like the way they treat people. It's such an easy thing to nitpick at. Like, it really is. It really is. And I think one of the strongest things that you can do is be a wholesome person. And being a wholesome person means being honest. With that honesty, you know, holding true to who you are, regardless of who you are. Like, if you got some weird shit going on, be you, be yourself, own in on that, and then do what you can to be better, do what you can to work on yourself. But don't, like, if you're lying to yourself, you're your worst enemy.
Yeah.
Like,
because at some point you got to keep yourself in check. And what I mean by that is, like, you really need to always be constantly observing yourself. Because, like, if you're not, like, how are you gonna figure out, like, how to be a better person? Because if you're not observing yourself, then, like, you're gonna be stuck in whatever ways you are. Like, if you think you're a perfect person, you're gonna be stuck in that.
right.
And if you think you're a bad person, but you're not observing yourself and, like, trying to figure out how to get better, then you're gonna be stuck in that too. So, like, in order to be a good person, one of the key things that you have to do constantly is just be observing yourself and everything that you're doing.
I agree.
I'm so glad you brought that topic up, man. That is a amazing topic that I think about all the time. Yeah. It's weird that you brought that up today.
Hey, man, you know, it's up here. But we're gonna wrap this up. This is good.
Got me thinking, man.
I apologize.
No,
man.
you know,
Please bring her back.
He doesn't need to apologize to you guys or me or
The
anyone.
audio is covered with her laughing and crying and screaming and shit.
It's
Perfectly. I'll take the blame.
She is the special guest.
Yeah.
This is Hayden, by the way.
Homie.
Hayden Sky
Homie now.
Phillips.
Snap with it. Snap. There you go.
It's a weird one. She doesn't really cry too much, but she definitely wants all the attention. It's a bad combination.
All right. Well, again, guys, Christian Tejeda, Donell Ward, Alphonso McCree.
McCrizzle on YouTube. Follow it.
Yeah, I'll put
9
everybody's.
Easy on Instagram, on IG.
I'll put everybody's shit in the fucking description.
She'll have an Instagram soon.
Really?
I'm doing the same thing with my baby born.
She wants her to get into like modeling because she takes like amazing pictures. Her eyes, dude. I don't fucking know.
I've seen the pictures on Facebook. They're adorable.
Damn.